This is Elaine Jackman for Scholastic News, and I'm standing in front of the Dennis Sullivan in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Dennis Sullivan is a replica of an 1800s wooden schooner, and it's used as a floating classroom, so kids can go on and learn a ton about the Great Lakes. So I'm going to go on now and check out how it all works. Why was the Dennis Sullivan built, and what's its mission?
The Dennis Sullivan was built in the 1990s, and the purpose that we had in mind when we built it was we wanted to make a vessel that was an accurate recreation of an 1800s era Great Lakes cargo schooner, because those ships were a really important part of the lifeblood and the development of the Midwest of the United States as a whole. And we wanted to sort of have the opportunity to examine that from an educational perspective and from a historical perspective. And none of those ships from the 1800s survived. So when we wanted to have one, we said, okay, we've got to make one from scratch. The mission is primarily about raising awareness about the Great Lakes. So the ecological plight that the Great Lakes are in, information about marine biology, as well as historical information, trade information, what Great Lakes schooners were doing in the 1800s, sort of the whole gamut.
And why is it called Dennis Sullivan?
Okay, so the Dennis Sullivan is named after a captain of a Great Lakes schooner from the 1800s. His name was Captain Dennis Sullivan. He wound up being one of the most famous cargo schooner captains in the Great Lakes. He also had one of the longest careers of any of the cargo schooner captains. He became famous initially because he agreed to a race with another cargo schooner captain. Yeah, they were both at the same port. They were both heading to the same port. They said, okay, let's have a race. And they took their two schooners out and they started racing, and a storm came up on the Great Lakes, a big nasty storm. And Dennis Sullivan saw the storm and he was like, no way, I'm checking out. And he went to the nearest port, and the other captain was like, I'm gonna win this race, and he sailed straight through the storm. Yeah, he made it to the next town, but his ship had no sails, no masts, nothing left over. It was just a husk of a ship, and they had to get towed in. And Dennis Sullivan then, of course, was already safe in port. He put his sails up, he sailed to the next port. He lost the race, but the two captains met in town, and they're like, let's just call it a tie. But a lot of people got wind of this. They heard about the race. They were like, oh, that Dennis Sullivan, he's a captain who makes a safe decision. He's the better choice for my cargo. And so he became famous after that.
So he did the smart thing.